Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
this
so
question. It's really
much.
very important. Please go ahead and record.
Okay, sir. So, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Dr. Zubair, the Director of ICT. You are also appreciated, sir. Thank you for all you do behind the scene to ensure the center, gets going. Very passionate about open and distance education. And maybe that is where I grew my career, where I started as at a very young age. And, I've been now over 11 years in open and distance education. And I'm happy for the step the university is taking. I appreciate the management of the university also for their, forward-thinking attitude in investing on open and distance, education programs. So, um, based on this, we're just going to start. I'll be sharing my screen now. So kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's shared.
All right. Thank you so much. So, we're going to
Yeah, it's clear. You
start
can see it.
You can
with
see it.
this
Yes.
topic in mind. Learning management system, understanding LMS in the context of open and distance learning. So this topic shares a little similarity with what we are going to do at the second phase. But in the second phase, we are going to go deeper. We are going to see it from theoretical point of view and how all these things builds into one another. So earlier, I had my introduction, and well, that is me. Uh, I've gotten over a decade experience in Nigerian open and distance education learning ecosystem. I started my career as an instructional designer at the University of Ilorin, now being a permanent staff at the Department of Educational Technology in the same university. Currently going through my postdoc fellowship at the University of Johannesburg, South Africa, and a full stack developer. And I specialize in developing educational technology products. So presently, I'm focusing my energy into, creating artificial intelligence products to communities that are underserved, especially the low constraint community in sub-Saharan Africa. So that is currently what I'm doing presently. So I'm happy to meet you all. So let's go straight to the business of the day. Open and distance learning, or open and distance education. What is it? There have been a lot of perception about it. There have been a lot of, a lot of call for or against it. Why is it very important? Why is it very necessary, especially in the context of Africa educational system? So the first I want us to look at is that ODL has become an extension of higher education or tertiary education globally, not just in Africa. It is global. So we've got the University of the People, which is very recently created in the United States. We've got the Open University in the UK. We've got the Mahatma Gandhi University in India, University of South Africa here in Africa, and so on and so forth, all offering open and distance learning education. And then they are applying this majorly at the tertiary education level. And these institutions are creating opportunity for people and supporting lifelong learning. So, but in the context of Africa, we've got issues that should take us into looking for alternatives. And the first is the overregulation of what we call the conventional higher education system. In Nigeria, for anybody to gain admission to any university, you've got to battle NUC, you've got to battle JAM, you've got to battle post-UTME, and then not talking about WAHEC and all those stuffs. We've got a lot going on that you have to settle with. And then this thing has becoming like making our university system over-regulated, quote and unquote, over-regulated. JAMB will tell you you cannot take more than XYZ capacity. And then NUC will tell you, okay, your course have to be disaccredited, and also you have this lecturer-student ratio. And then other professional organizations, COREN, whatever it is, they are also there to also regulate whatever you're doing. And the question is, has this regulation actually improved our quality, or is it killing our creativity? So every year, year in, year out, we see a large number of students who are qualified to be in tertiary education. But because of this overregulation, these people are disenfranchised due to the quota system. Oh, I'm sorry, the university can only take 5,000 students, and this department is full, is filled up. But the candidate will tell you, oh, I've got 5 credits, I've scored 200, but I'm sorry. And behind the scene, there are things like quota system, catchment area, all these infused in our admission system. And that is why every year for the past 20 years, we've only been able to admit just less than 30% of qualified applicants. We've only been able to admit just less than 20% of the qualified applicants. So, and this is why Africa needs to look in the direction of open and distance education. And we're talking about serving Nigerian in the context of Nigeria now. We're not talking about our neighbors, Ghana, our neighbors, people from neighboring country looking at Nigeria as the giant of Africa, coming to want to have a taste of, Nigerian educational system. Because even the Nigerians that are here, our system is not enough to really serve us. We haven't gotten enough from our system. So, and that is why I want to go into the next phase, where we need to look at what exactly is open and distance education. All right. And just like as I was saying, ODL is not a workaround. It's not just like us trying to find a solution to access to accessibility issues, coming stemming from over subscription of our tertiary educational system, but rather it is a formal educational system that is usually at the tertiary level. So I think in the Nigeria of today, we don't really have approved secondary school, or primary schools in open and distance education ecosystem. So, but most ODLs are usually targeted at offering tertiary education. So it's a formal system. Certificates are issued and are recognized, anywhere and everywhere, just as what we've got in the face-to-face, educational system. So access is the driving force, especially in cases where the demand for higher education or tertiary education outstrips the capacity for the traditional educational institution. And then it is a form of educational system where students and teachers need not to be at the same physical location. I think in the subsequent presentation, I will hammer that third point very well, and we were going to look at it from a theoretical point of view. What are the likely effects of the students not being at the same physical location with the teacher? And I want us to stress on the word physical location, because the advancement of technology can really make us to be at the same location virtually, without having to see physically, and we can still exchange ideas, communicate, and do everything we want to do. All right. ODL have technology as the backbone, and this technology comes in various forms, whether synchronous or asynchronous, whether a massive technology that is the augmented reality AR and the virtual reality VR. And they also have something called learning analytics as the backbone, also helping to guiding in making decisions, guiding in evaluating learning, and improving participants' performance. Collecting data of almost everything, that is the big data, okay, how many students were online, how many students are able to join, how many students are able to turn in their assignments on time, and so on and so forth. Then we need to now we need to take a closer look, zooming down to one of the technologies that becomes a driving force in open and distance education, especially in the 21st century. And that technology is what we call the learning management system. So why do we need to look at it? Why is LMS, is it not everywhere? Is it not available everywhere? Are people not building quote and unquote LMSs? So why is it compulsory, or why is it important for us to have a closer look at that word, learning management system? First, learning management system is an application software for administering, documenting, tracking, reporting, automating, and delivery of educational courses, training programs, learning programs, development programs, and so on and so forth. First, we need to see that LMS is not just a software for uploading and downloading PDFs. No, and that is what a lot of us have reduced what learning management to. It is an application software that administers, documents, track, report, automate, and deliver educational courses or educational programs. So that is what it does. So there are many things many people call LMSs today that are actually not qualified in educational technology to be regarded as learning management systems. So we're going to look into this further. So it is an application software, usually web-based, okay, that is used to plan, to implement, and assess a specific, learning process. Why are they so important to teaching and learning? Well, they offered the following. Well, the centralized access to course contents, giving a central access. Everybody, irrespective of their location, can actually, have access to courses, interact. So it's like a one-stop platform where all teaching and learning materials can be uploaded and can be made available to the students. We've got streamlined administration. LMSs allow for efficient management of students' enrollment, attendance tracking, communication, and other administrative tasks that is performed by the teacher, also in the face-to-face environment. So we've talked about, we have something called flexible delivery. So LMS can be used flexibly. It is very flexible. Whether we are operating a full distance learning course, yes, LMS is there to serve. Whether we are doing something like hybrid learning system, LMS can work. Whether we are even using traditional, Gombe State University used to be traditional, and after the accreditation of this center, they will become a dual mode institution, so which make them hybrid. So in any of these use cases, LMS can be deployed as a tool to support the process. So let's look at the common misconception. There is something very close to learning management system that are not actually learning management system, is what we call the CMS, the course management system. Many institutions are building course management system in form of repository. So they upload PDF materials, they upload, information about courses, what student can download. And the bad side of it is that they mistook such platform as learning management system. They are actually not learning management system. So many softwares, many application falls into this category. One of the popular one is what we call WordPress. WordPress can serve as course management system, but not learning management system. We've got things like Google Classroom. It's more of a cost management system. Even many of things have been added in form of updates and upgrades, but it still serve more as cost management system. So cost management system operates at the level of the lecturer, at the level of the teacher. There is no centrality around it, where students' performance? Can we get a correlation of students performing in course A that is taught by lecturer A? How does it relate with courses taught by lecturer B in another context and all that? So we're still a Google Classroom or platforms like course management system can actually not give us that level of analytical data. So then let's look at pedagogical and administrative functions of LMS, especially within the purview of open and distance education. The first I want to mention is the authoring advantage, ability to create, content, ability to create materials that are in web-based formats without having to learn how to program HTML, CSS, and all that. So you don't need to really go into, learning that before you can create your course suitable for the web. Okay, so that is the first advantage for teachers. If we should say we should train all teachers on how to write code, how to program, it's going to take a while. So that is the first advantage a learning management system gives you. Apart from you being able to upload, which is the most popular things that we do in Africa on learning management system, you can also create pages, you can create interactive books and all that, a lot of creative things. You can create interactive videos, drag and drop, a lot of fantastic things there. All right. So another thing is classroom management. Classroom management is so important. Those of us with education background, we know how important it is to manage your classroom. Okay, so the LMS offers ways of organizing resources, pupils, students, helpers in the classroom so that teaching and learning can proceed in an efficient and safe manner. So there is a way LMS does that, such that the students know where to get their materials, they know what to register for, they know when their courses are to be held, they have their calendar, they got notification, everything is managed within the purview of a virtual learning environment. So we talk about competency management. So competency management help us to get, to close the personal competency, gap. All right. So in a course, we have a concept called micro learning, whereby you don't need to really graduate after 4 years and earn a certificate of Gombe State University before you can show that you are a student or you have studied computer science. So in computer science, maybe in your year one, you were taught Python programming language. So we can build a competency framework around Python programming language. And with that skill alone, you can showcase, what you can do with Python programming language. You can be placed on a job, say, oh, I've completed this module of my course and I have passed, I've scored A, I do this, I can do X, Y, Z. These are the evidences of my skills in this course. So it's in the traditional settings, it takes 4 years for you to be able to do that. And that is why, when graduates, they apply to a bank, the bank first want to take them through 6 months of rigorous training before, pushing them on the job. And at times, most of what they are trained on are things they have learned in schools, but they were not taught within the purview of the, competency based learning framework. So, but LMS can actually help us to close this gap. Then we talk about knowledge management. That is the distribution, access, and retrieval of unstructured information about human experiences between interdependent individuals and among members of a work group. So LMS also afford us, these functions in learning in a open and distance learning environment. Certification or compliance training can be done, and then there is personalization. Personalization have to do with adaptation of users based on, personal details, personal characteristics, personal learning style, learning preferences, and all that. So this these are some of the pedagogical and administrative duties that LMS afford. So still talking about that, we've got something like a mentoring, charts, discussion board to be other features that are offered by learning management system. And I want us, as we go through this, I want us to start to begin to reflect on the learning management systems that we have used in the past, maybe during the COVID-19 when, we couldn't go to work and, there was lockdown everywhere. So what learning management system did you use around that time? Do they have these features? Are you aware of these features by then? Were you able to use it? How were you using it? I want us to please reflect on that. And if this feature had been used, how would it had transformed that experience during that COVID-19? How would that, the students have felt, after the COVID-19? How would you have felt as a lecturer after, the COVID-19? All right, so I've got other features to include LMS integrations, to include things like, having the ability to integrate with various other tools like Zoom, Google Meets, Teams, and so on and so forth. So LMS are usually very flexible and they allow us to add other custom edtech products. Okay, so we talk about data tracking. Also, you can actually see the reports of activities of every unique learner on the learning management system. So we've got personalized user experience also. I think I have talked about that. All right, now let me just quickly jump into this. What are the trend of learning management system in Nigeria? I want to start with the Nigeria case. I'll talk about Nigeria, then we'll talk about what's going on in the global spaces also. So first in Nigeria, I think we are really doing fine, even though we are not where we are supposed to be. So we've got 48.81 internet penetration rates in Nigeria, and then our 4G network has grown over 53.6%. So that's to tell us that more than half of smartphone users are accessing internet via the 4G network. But however, on the 5G phase, we've got something a little bit lower, but it's also it's steadily increasing. And as what we can see from 1.73 in 2024 to 2.93 in May 2025, that has been the growth. And I don't know what the statistics will be this year. It's almost 1 year later. All right. So these statistics in Nigeria is actually shaping the future of what LMS looks, or what LMS will be in the foreseeable future in Nigeria. So also in terms of device ownership, we have got 172 million mobile subscribers, and that is to say that over 50% of Nigerians have access to mobile devices which they can use to connect. And then recently, or not recently again, sometimes last year, the Federal Ministry of Education, they adopted Blackboard learning management system by the ministry. And then, to say the least, there is some positive. And though there are lots of reservation, we look at how much is being expended on Blackboard compared to other better and cheaper, learning management system. All right. But at least there is an awareness in the government framework that, LMS is very important. LMS is good, for universities or tertiary education, and also to support open and distance education. Then on the global trend, I'm just going to dwell mostly on these two innovations. The first being artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this is creating a very great deal of customization, adaptive learning, whereby we can all be in the same class, students can be in the same class, but each of them have a custom learning experiences because of a machine learning, which have learned their pattern, their preferences, how much they assimilate and all that. So all this is currently transforming what learning management system can do. Also, I think I missed something on when I was talking about the local trend. Sometimes last month, the University of Ilorin launched what we call AI OER for open and distance learning, for the Center for Open and Distance Learning, where I was one of the lead facilitator. So presently, institutions are deploying AI in creating courseware, in creating, interactive, materials which can be consumed by open and distance learning learner. And this is part of the global trend. The training was actually reported at the just concluded Commonwealth of Learning Retreat workshop. I think that was last week, Monday. All right. So, and then also still on global trend, we've got immersive technologies that is currently being used. I think I'm privy to a research going on currently at my center here at the University of Johannesburg, where tools like virtual reality are being deployed for students of open and distance learning to connect to class. So they don't just sit back and watch on Zoom again, but they feel like they are part of the class. They feel like they experience the class, firsthand. All right, they experience the class firsthand and they learn directly. There is a level of immersion, not just like you are watching, but now you are engaging more, you are being involved, you are experiencing, like being part of a real class, being part of a real people. So that experiment had been implemented on teaching practice, where students can actually, do their teaching practice using a virtual reality headset. Okay, so lastly, on the future, want to talk about data-driven insights. A lot is going on in academic in our schools when students are in class. Our semester, the lecturer go to class, they teach, they give materials, they give assignments, they give CA, and they give exam, but they don't know the students who have tendency to fail until after they mark and submit the scripts. And at times it happens that you are even shocked to see that, oh, this boy, how come did you fail? You always come to class, you do this, you do this, because there is no data. Nobody is taking charge of data. Nobody. But LMS is taking care of this for us. So LMS, they are now growing into generating data to predict students who are at risk of dropping out, lectures that are at risk of not making, the target, goal and not reaching. So lecturers not getting the classes and students not attending classes regularly, and a lot of metrics that can really help us to predict the outcome even before the end of the course. So these are very good initiatives that is making open and distance learning more engaging, that is making open and distance learning even more profitable. I think we should talk about profit also. All right, so thank you. I want to put a semicolon here, and then I want us to engage on question and answer session. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions for me on this. Then after that, we'll get a summary, and then we'll just wrap up this session. So thank you. Question and answer, please.
Thank you, Dr. Koladafe. Let's put a round of applause for him for the first session he has taken us through. It is really impactful, insightful into learning management system, ODL concepts, and a lot more, local and global issues. So at this point, as he said, if there are questions, kindly let us know. Virtual participants, that are not here physically with us in the director's office can indicate, so that at your end, Dr. Koladafe, you can unmute them and allow them to ask their question directly. But let me also know whether some of us that have listened and followed the workshop that we are here, do we have any question? Directors, are we at the question and answer? Okay, Dr. Ahmad? Okay, Dr. Ahmad, over to you.
Okay, so facilitator, I have a question here. So the question is, you said the term CMS and LMS have been used erroneously in recent years. Well, it seems the explanation given are similar, because CMS is a tool that can manage all information about training courses. And likewise, LMS goes beyond just managing information about training or courses, but I don't actually understand what you mean by they were used erroneously. Do you mean they were used interchangeably? What do you precisely mean? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for the question. I so much appreciate that. All right. What I said was CMS, course management system, and learning management system are erroneously. Hello? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
All right. Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
All right. Thank you, sir. So I said that the both terms were erroneously used interchangeably. Course management system is not the same as learning management system, and even from the nomenclature, from the name, okay, even from the name, one can really tell about the difference. Course management system is teacher-centered. It is the lecturer-centered. So the lecturer puts the course resources, they put the course PDF, textbooks, and all that on the platform. The students come there to download, get them downloaded, respond to whatever they want to respond to, and move on. Learning management system focus more on the learner's perspective. It's learner-centered. It's looking at learning. What we are managing is learning. What is learning? In the easiest, simplest definition, according to the behaviorist theory, the difference between what is not known and what is known, overcoming or the unknown to the known. All right, just the simplest way. Okay, a relative permanent change in individuals' behavior due to experiences and practices. That is learning. All right, so how can you actually manage learning? It's a difficult thing. So you need to look at, well, it's not just about interaction. It's not just about having access to PDF. Learning is not just about watching YouTube videos or coming to class just as we are now. So there are certain things, there are certain metrics that are used in measuring this. So there are certain systems that are built in learning management systems that are not present in course management system. So I think I don't want to really jump the gun, but I believe so strongly that by the time we take the second presentation, some of these things will be explained far, far better than we are. So my job here is just to give a general introduction to LMS and their roles in open and distance learning. So I note your question very well. I will do most justice to them, to the question in the second presentation, where we're really going to look at the theoretical foundation of learning management system and how they solve the problem of distance in open and distance learning ecosystem. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Kolawale. My question is based on this the future trend on virtual reality.
Yes, sir.
I need more explanation because there are courses that has practicals like physics and chemistry.
Yes.
So I didn't know how they are going to take their practicals since their lectures are their lectures are virtual and the practicals has to be done physically.
Yes.
So
All
please,
right.
can you maybe elaborate more on that?
Okay. Thank you so much for that interesting question. Then I'm going to answer this question based on lived experience, mine personal experience of using immersive technology for virtual learning. Okay. Currently, like in my introduction, like I said in my introduction, that I am undergoing my postdoctoral research at the Center for Advanced Learning in Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, CAUSTIM, University of Johannesburg. Okay, so the research we've got virtual laboratories where I mixed chemicals together. I was able to carry the beaker, pour some things, do the chemical, put the test tube, do everything I could have done in a physical classroom environment. In fact, there was a as easy as beating a virtual drum. So you move your hand and you begin to hear the sound that is being produced. A lot of experiments on physics and chemistry have been virtualized. Okay, it has been virtualized, and these things are very real. So it's like you are in the laboratory. You take every precautions. You dress up, like you are in the lab, and then you begin to, do your practicals based on the provided guidelines, and you record your readings, and then you plot your graph and you submit what you are supposed to submit, all done virtually. Okay, so that is the case I cited is research that is currently ongoing, and we can only imagine what other countries are doing, but from literatures we can see that virtual laboratory is something that have come to stay. The most popular one is the FET laboratory, the very popular one, and because that is free to use, and maybe in the course of our presentation we might touch it. Okay, so it is very, very possible. However, in the case of Nigeria, with our current reality, NUC have not given any ODL center, whether full or dual mode, like the Gombe State University is planning to be. So they have not issued a 100% virtual, distance learning, that student will not come to school at all or physically, but rather they give you a 70-30 kind of a framework where 70% of the semester can happen on or online, while 30% happened offline. All right, so that is what we currently have in Nigeria presently. And during that time, like in my center here in Ilorin, so we've got students, they come for that part of the semester, even though we have also been implementing experiments online, virtual experiments, using our virtual lab. So but when they come around, those that are yet to be virtualized, they still come to use the physical facilities at the university, just to complement whatever they are done online. So presently, but there is a vast amount of research going on into the use of immersive technology for, practicals, open and distance learning education. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doc, for this long explanation. And I just want to also share, I don't know that I'm audible.
Yes, you are, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Thank
you.
very much. Yeah, actually, last year, I attended one presentation at the TED Fund, and there was one committee that came to make presentation on this virtual laboratory. And actually collected the virtual glasses and the control part, and I tried it. It's just exactly the same with if you're in the laboratory, actually. The control part is like you enter, you wear hand gloves. Then you enter into the laboratory and you'll be touching some things inside there's one cubicle like that. So inside the cubicle, you'll be touching things and you actually be carrying out practicals. However, they're all virtual. It's not as if you are touching chemicals, but you will be feeling exactly as if you are inside a laboratory. I entered myself and I tried it myself, even though I'm not a science-based student, but I really appreciated it very much. And I think that time, the questions that were asked to the company, the most important thing that caught my attention was the company is now saying they're only actually is in the research stage as it is now, but the only blocking whatever they see is NUC approval to start using it as at then. Last year, I did presentation in that gathering, and when I saw that, it actually caught my attention. And I know it is very, very possible. The one very big advantage of it is the issue of lab consumables that are very expensive now. If we're able to do this, and the virtual reality is taken into consideration, to be honest, it will go a long way, because there are many practicals that are supposed to be carried out in some degrees that we award, but because of how expensive things are, the students are unable to be introduced to those things. So I'm sure this will actually bring a lot of changes if we are able to actualize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director, sir. Dr. Koladafe, you have heard his comments. Do you have anything, or can we move on?
Yeah, there is nothing to add. There is nothing to take away. That is exactly how it is. Thank you so much, Director.
I also want to make a brief comment on the CMS LMS issue that our colleague earlier on asked, and which you have effectively provided answer to it. However, in addition to what you have said, for me, I was thinking Google Classroom was part of learning management system. Even with my background in EduTech and so on, all along I have been thinking that Google Classroom can be qualified to be part of learning management system. But from this workshop now, you have opened my eyes to understand that Google Classroom has some inherent weaknesses, making it teacher-centered rather than learner-centered. Therefore, it doesn't qualify to fall within the LMS like Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, and so on. Yes, so but specifically, I want to also say that issue of block, I know there is block. Can we regard block as part of course management system, CMS? Just a question.
Okay, you mean blog, BLOG?
Yes. Where we
right.
have bloggers, many of them developing blogs.
Blogs are not. Yeah. If you look at the root word of blog, the actual name for blog is weblog. Weblog, and that is what the shorting, we corrupt those two words and get the word blog. Weblog is just a record of your personal activities. Those of us that used to keep diaries back then, and many people still keep diaries to date. So you put your log, you put your experience, and the kind of experience, instead of you keeping it close to yourself, you want to share with everybody. And that is where we have weblog. So weblog, you go, it's kind of a system that allows you to put your opinion, to put your whatever it is, your experience, you have a news, you have something new to share. You can just get it typed out and share to the people. And however, it is also a very good learning tool. It can be used as a learning tool, but it itself is not a learning management system. So tools can be used for learning, all right, but they in isolation cannot be required or cannot be classified
Regarded.
as learning management system or regarded as learning management system. Thank you for the word regard. So we've got things, other tools like wiki. The most popular wiki we have is the Wikipedia. Wikipedia is also a very good learning tool, especially for constructing knowledge, for collaborating. We want to write things together. We have an opinion that for example, I think in Kebbi State, there is this Agungun festival, and nobody can write about Agungun festival alone, because people have diverse experience about it. So when I open a wiki on Agungun Festival, people will begin to, people from different family background, they are fishermen, they are this, they are that. They tell you stories that you yourself, even if you're a researcher, you might not be able to find out. So people come to express themselves, create knowledge, and that is what, that is what our wiki is all about. And we can also not categorize it in isolation as learning management system. But can it be part of a learning management system? Yes. Can blog be part? Can it be a feature? Can it be a tool in learning management system? Yes is the answer. So thank you so much for that.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Koladafe. So I think going by our agenda, we have a second session, which we need to take before lunch break. So can we quickly go there with the permission of the director? Yes. Features and affordances of LMS for open and distance education.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead, please.
Over to you, Dr. Koladafe, for the second session now. Dr. Koladafe, are you there? Probably.
Oh, sorry. I was actually talking. I forgot that my PC is muted.
Yes.
All right, I'm so sorry for that. So I'm going to first stop this recording and start again for consumability